Hello, good day everyone. It's me, the Lingsha fan, the Lingsha enjoyer, the Lingsha fan. Except not really, we can all be the Lingsha fan. However, I want to talk about Lingsha, especially because, luckily for me and everyone in the world, she's getting a rerun. And I think she's kind of been a bit underrated, I guess. I guess it kind of depends on maybe who you ask. For how well is she rated, but I don't know. I think she's probably calling someone the best sustain in the game is kind of goofy, because I feel if they make you not die, that's the main important thing, right? So, and other sustains, they definitely have their upsides and better, maybe not better synergies, but I guess, I don't know. How am I trying to phrase this? They might have some specific kind of teaming that will make them stand out a bit better compared to Lingsha. For example, character really needs energy stuff, well, obviously they'll touhou, especially if they the attack percent too. Although, I mean, I wouldn't completely ignore the break damage and stuff that she can do, but that's besides the point. Energy and attack, for someone like Yunli, you wouldn't mind someone like Lingsha. And obviously Gallagher, he's good for printing skill points, that kind of stuff. So obviously I know that part of why she probably received she received more doom posting on her release was because I have Gallagher, why would I need to pull Lingsha, blah, blah, blah. And for the record, I don't blame anyone for doing that. I think it's totally valid to use Gallagher, and I mean, I still use Gallagher, even with Lingsha, he has specific teams. Well, not necessarily that I'm always yes, I get to use Gallagher over Lingsha, but because I'm using Lingsha, having a worse Lingsha for my other team it tends to be pretty nice, especially considering he can print more SP, which is of course nice and cozy. But let's talk a little bit about, I just want to talk about why I think she's broken. I don't know, that's the way I'm going to put it. She's broken. True. And kind of funnily enough, every character that has come out and about to come out basically has either made Lingsha get better or has increased her value. And because I've seen so many people being oh, I regret not getting Lingsha. I thought she was just going to be limited to break. And, well, I get to be that annoying guy. It's aha, I told you so, that she's broken. And I think she's going to continue to get better as, the kind of summon, quote-unquote, meta, progresses. And maybe things that want more, attack. Or follow-up attack, or summoning attack. So yeah, let's go ahead and just talk about her in general. Also, she's very pretty. We need to get this out of the way. She's very pretty. She's extremely pretty. She's very pretty. Okay, so for general comfort stuff, I think it's no surprise that she's obviously very cozy, very comfy. It's pretty impossible to die with her because she has a shit ton of cleanses. She has and even if she herself gets cleansed, you always have things from her ult, or not from her ult. Obviously, if she's stuck, she can't use it. But you have either follow-ups, her little bunny floating around. He pops up, bam, cleansed. If you have this thing passive or this passive proc, you'll get this, and bam, it'll fix. You'll be fine. So first of all, she just makes it very cozy versus anything that has a lot of different statuses or annoying effects, because obviously we have Aventurine, and when it comes to him you have the 50 effect res, and it's pretty good, but sometimes you just get shit on anyway, and it's wow, fuck, I lose. But with Lingsha, you don't really lose. You kind of just win. True. So obviously she's very comfy in that front, and then also because again this is an emergency healing, so you'll get plenty of that if you need it, and obviously that's good. kind of second to that is, what else? I mean, I know obviously her skill heals and then her ult heals, like everything, it's good. You just don't, you just don't die, which is great. But that's not too surprising to anyone watching, so I'm not gonna keep going. I'm not gonna keep rattling on about it. So yeah, and obviously similar to kind of like other, like similar to Gallagher, basically, you also have plenty of options for her Lycoons, which is nice. You know, she obviously in terms of like pure damage, you know, you would want her signature, like ideally, because you get, it's like what, it's its vulnerability buff. I forget exactly. I don't have it. I'm a big fan, I guess, but you know, you can use, like, it'd be good because you also get a shit ton of break. But you can also just use either post-op conversation or what is real or quid pro quo, and those are all really good. Even like shared feeling probably. It's very easy for pretty much my build for kind of just general content. Is basically I've just used what is real and had her on an ER rope, and I've just kind of called it a day because of that. This is a little different than what I normally do because I was doing Storm Disaster earlier and I got just kind of annoying, so I gave everyone a little extra bulk. This is not the proper build either, actually. Where is it? What piece? Oh, I think it's this one. Yeah, no, it should be this one. Alright, there we go. It's normally what I use, so as you can see, you know, got a decent amount of break, especially because this doesn't include the like 40 from the Forge set. Yeah, I'm usually using her Firefly, and you know, ER. So she has pretty good uptime. You can also, like, if you like don't want to die, like extra security, you can, I think, either just one of post-op, or like either using what is real plus an ER rope, or using post-op and then an break rope is good. I think technically post-op S5 is better than a ER rope in this because you get more break out of it, and I think it gives you enough ER to like burst often enough. But obviously it's not fully like necessary. I just think you definitely want some ER on her, but like the kind of which order you, or like which one you pick, it doesn't matter too much, you know. It'll all work out. It'll all work out. But yeah, you know, obviously you get to win. But I want to go ahead and kind of talk about her, like, I don't know. I talk about the general sustains of obviously good options, but that's not what's really relevant. Like every sustain in whatever form has their own like things that make them, you know, little support stuff. But I want to talk about how like every character that has come out has proceeded to either buff Lingsha or made her like value go up, and yeah, but why you need her too. So first, the character that came right after, well, I guess we could talk about Fei Xiao because she came right before her, which I'm not gonna count too much for her, but you know, it's true. So for Fei Xiao, obviously her like ideal sustain, it's Aventurine because of just the way his follow-ups work. Like it's definitely better to use him. Like I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that. However, I do think, you know, in a team like that, you can still use Lingsha and it won't be bad. Like obviously she's not as skill point friendly since you do like to use her skill to, you know, keep her bunny uptime, and plus like it can either be good for healing or it can be like break, like if you need to break toughness down. But you could also like just use like post-op plus ER, get a shit ton of ER, and like keep cycling your ult a ton, and obviously it means you won't die, but it also means you'll have like a lot of bunny turns, and obviously bunny turns is good for Fei Xiao, and you know, not very surprising. So you know, there's that. I think obviously everyone knows that, you know, Aventurine's the best for Fei Xiao, but like I think, you know, she deserves some credit for being still pretty good with Fei Xiao too. And also, you know, you get the comfort of like cleanses and stuff too. So, you know, she provides like a benefit offensively via like the stacks for Fei Xiao while also being very cozy. So, you know, pretty nice, pretty nice. And then so after came Rappa, and I okay, I don't have Rappa obviously, and I'm not fully familiar with her kit, but from what I understand is she seems to be not too, I mean, she obviously uses SP like because she wants to have high ult uptime, but I'm pretty sure she doesn't need quite as much. Like she's not as SP heavy as someone like an E0 Firefly, I think. So like with that in mind, you can afford to use Lingsha there more, and I think in those kind of teams she's gonna most likely be a pretty substantial upgrade over Gallagher, because you know, you get more AoE break, and obviously since Rappa is, you know, erudition, you know, she hits everything. More break, usually more good. And even worst case, if it's not like a fire weak enemy, like it's something that's only like imaginary weak, you know, you can still, obviously she'll be way more comfy, but then once things are broken, you know, she can do damage to all the enemies, but also she can have pretty good uptime on her, once again, the break buff from her ultimate, which is, you know, pretty good. And, you know, example of one team where she already shines pretty well in it, and I think she's, you know, a noticeable upgrade. And then after that came the Acheron rerun, which doesn't really like I mean, honestly, Lingsha's not that bad for Acheron either. Obviously, again, I think what's Acheron's ideal sustain? I don't know, maybe someone like Fushuan, or either like Fushuan or Aventurine. But obviously, if you have S1 Aventurine, I think he's technically the best. But if you don't have S1, then I think it's something like Fushuan or Aventurine with the trends like I think for like the most ideal thing, or like fucking Fire MC or something. So, you know, obviously, I think they're technically the best, since it's not like Acheron can benefit from the break buff, but you know, Lingsha can still work really well there too, because again of that buff, of that debuff, and you know, again, you can have good uptime with it with someone like this, and also it means you're never gonna die, and you know, it's pretty good. Kind of like how many, because you know, yeah, because you use Gallagher, I've seen people use Gallagher in her team, so it's the same principle pretty much, or something like that. And yeah, you get a shit ton of turns with her bunny, so you know, pretty good. And then let's see. So after her is where the kind of the biggest, like, kind of where I first was like, you know, I think we are just in Lingsha's world. Like, we are all living in Lingsha's world. Is when Sunday drops. And so Sunday, basically, I mean, okay, I think pre-Sunday, you could probably still use like a kind of, not meme build, but like you could use like a crit Lingsha and like it would probably be okay. Like it'd probably be fine. But I think with Sunday, Critcha got like so broken, or like very, very usable, like pretty good. So you know, amazing. I'm happy about that. Obviously, in case you just happen to be aware or need a reminder for whatever reason, but yeah, I should probably max this. But you know, obviously with Sunday, you get to action forward her summon, or you get to action Fuyan, the bunny guy, every single time he skills her, and because of that, it means you have, you know, more control over the bunny and like how often it gets to go. So obviously, you know, in terms of like heals and stuff, you know, you get more heals, you get more ults because of that. So obviously, in terms of the healing part, you're never gonna die. But because, you know, Lingsha's the healer, so you can go like three supports and all just buff her damage and make her do like pretty well, all things considered. Like even before Fugue, which, you know, we're gonna get to her. But like even before Fugue, I was having pretty decent results with teams that were like Lingsha, Robin, Sunday, and I think I was using Sparkle, which isn't ideal because of the way like the buffs work, but like for the SP it was fine. I think maybe more ideally it would be better to use either someone like maybe March, because of using because I mean the March, Sunday, Robin, and Lingsha team is also, it's basically a variant of like when you use Bronya and Gallagher, but it's better because it has Lingsha. Sorry. But yeah, it's basically like a variant of that team, which is obviously very good. I've used it, it clears, it's great. But the team, the like 3 support team, you know, with Sparkle, it was still doing pretty. Also, I'm sorry for my builds. They are not optimal. I switch around relics a lot. I'm sorry, please don't think anything here is like permanent. I'm just clicking on shit. But yeah. Yeah, so you get to all buff her, and then she can reach pretty good numbers. So, you know, I mean, obviously, you'd be like, well, obviously, Jordan, you know, when you threw the 3 supports on the 1 character, of course you get good results. But I think what's nice is to remember is that, you know, obviously you can do that with other DPS. You can stack 3 supports, and you'll make their damage go way up. But what's nice about Lingsha is that, like, you can do that, but also still being pretty comfy to play, which I think is pretty nice, you know. Like, yeah, I gotta appreciate that. I'm not quite at the level where I can always like 0 cycle everything, so, you know, slapping together 3 supports with the healer and she's, you know, does pretty good damage, I think that's pretty fun. And obviously it's also just like funny as fuck to like record and like talk about too. It's like, yeah, I just got this. I just got her kicking ass. So, you know, obviously with Sunday, crit sub became a lot better. However, I do also, well, I guess this is more so with Fugue being out than necessarily with Sunday alone. Actually, yeah, I guess, well, before I move on to Fugue, yeah, because I think the team I'm more so thinking of is not really, well, actually no, I'll talk about it a little still. So obviously this team will definitely be better with Fugue once we kind of get to her, but because of how Sunday works and how you can always advance the bunny, I haven't tested it with HMC, but I would assume that a team of like, you know, Lingsha, Sunday, HMC, and Ron May would be pretty good in terms of like break up time and like super break stuff. And obviously that team I think is better with Fugue instead of HMC because you just get more, you get more breaks. And you could also do like the trio of break people plus Lingsha for she could take advantage of all the supports and kind of destroy everything too. But I did really like Sunday for in that slot as well because again with the bunny in that team I was kind of testing out a mixture of either like kind of going a decent amount of ER. Yeah, you could either go a decent amount of ER to have more ults, or you could go break. I personally found it more comfy when I had a bit more ER than when I didn't. But you know, both are good, especially because Sunday can battery your ults. But you know, in exchange for more like damage per hit, I did kind of prefer having the like more ults in general. But, you know, both, I think both are pretty good. But yeah, you know, so Sunday basically made Kritsha a lot better. I think another team that is pretty, I think it's something like Lingsha, Sunday, Jade, Robin, I think it was. Or maybe like Bronya instead of Robin? I don't know. It's something like that. I guess I don't have Jade. But I know that team also performs really well because you can make Jade you can make Lingsha your depth collector and it fucking prints out everything for Jade. So I know it's a dude that's pretty good. And obviously because another kind of nice benefit of like Lingsha's kit is that because, you know, she has the bunny, you know, she could take advantage of follow-up buffs like from Robin, for instance, which, you know, is cool. And how she can obviously take advantage of Sunday too. So, you know, pretty peak, you know. And then obviously we have Fugue now. And Fugue is kind of the reason she's the reason I got motivated to make this kind of video in the first place, is because Fugue plus Lingsha is like dangerously close to like, I think it's very, very good. It's very, very, very good. So obviously, you know, the only kind of drawback to Lingsha has been like your only super break carry per se, because obviously I think I've seen people kind of do teams like, you know, not team, oh yeah, like where you could do some stuff with like Gallagher as like not your only super break damage dealer, but like if he's like maybe one of your main ones, you know. The only like downside Lingsha had compared to like characters like Firefly, for instance, were that she wouldn't have weakness implants. So, you know, if you didn't fight fire weak things, she can't really, you know, break through it. And obviously her ideal matchup will always be fire break things. But because of Fugue and her, obviously her ult, but then also her being able to, which is it this? No, that's the technique. Whatever passive it is that makes it to where you can shred all enemy toughness, it means that you can like she can kind of get through everything now, or at least make it through a lot easier, which is really good. And obviously, you know, the other benefits like defense reduction, which is huge, you know, the defense reduction, the what the fuck, I'm blanking hard. And then obviously the break, yeah, obviously, you know, you get break from her, you know, all very good, very beneficial, everything that Lingsha likes. And since she is Nihility, you know, obviously, like HMC or whoever else, they can run like stuff like Dance Dance Dance, which is obviously good. I don't have S5 Dance Dance Dance, so I'm sad. But, you know, since Fugue can also run like either her signature or something like the Resolution Light Cone, you can get even more like damage buff, debuff, or Lingsha's damage. Like all of that into one, and you get to put for Lingsha. And obviously, you know, you say with Jordan, you know, other characters, they benefit too. But in comparison to other characters, Lingsha benefits more because she has all that AoE. She hits everything. So, you know, if you can, you know, afford the SP, like she'll hit everything and just kind of break literally everything. So in content where there's, you know, more than like a shit ton of enemies, like Pure Fiction, like she, with Fugue, I think she's probably the best, but not the best, but like very extremely broken for Pure Fiction now, because like everything isn't fire weak, like you can break through it for using Fugue plus Lingsha. And then because again she is your sustain, you can also bring other supports that can make that easier, like whether you use like Sunday or like run May HMC, you know, anything like that, and break through that content. And obviously the same will apply to Apocalyptic Shadow, which is great. So, you know, obviously I mean MOC too. I did do it clear with Lingsha in this MOC too. I didn't do a lot. I think I uploaded them already. I'll get them up soon if I haven't. But no, I haven't done a lot of it because this MOC is kind of, it's not hard, or I mean it's kind of annoying because for my specific cast of characters, it's a little bit annoying. But what's more annoying is I hate fighting Sword because I don't want to deal with like capturing shit. It's annoying. But yeah, anyway, she'll perform well in pretty much all content, which is great. And yeah, and I think what's also nice is like, obviously you can do Lingsha, Fugue, HMC, Runway, or you can also, I may mention this earlier, but I had a lot of success of going Sunday instead of HMC in that team too, and I think it partially came down to like some RNG, like hit RNG, like how much I would get hit on her, and also because I don't have Dance 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 on, I don't have S5, so obviously like S1's better than nothing, but it's still like it's still kind of not the best, like ideal. So I wouldn't be surprised if you had that, but then HMC would probably pull out on top for most people. But for me, a little pleb, I don't have it. I got very similar, if not better results with Sunday. And obviously for one, I would talk about how, you know, this, obviously this team is 4 limited 5 stars, maybe 3 if you're using HMC. So obviously it's not like it's a cheap team or anything like that. But, you know, for one, it's fun. You know, it's the healer. She's the one carrying. I just think that's great. But, I mean, it's also like, I don't know, it's just a very versatile kind of character that you can do shit with, and I think that's cool. Also, in those teams, I tried both, like going full on break and then also going kind of like mixed crit, and I found kind of like half break invested and half like attack, speed, and crit. And I kind of got all of them cleared fine, I kind of forget which performed the best, generally speaking. I think the best results were when I would go like the super break set, but still put like the ER, like ER rope plus maybe an ER weapon, or yeah, I think I got better results with that, even though I'd have Sunday. Like you think, I mean, break would still be really good too, because you would still get more. Yeah, I don't know. Regardless, like they all performed similarly enough to where I'm not gonna bust my brain thinking about it. So, you know, yeah. So obviously, I got a little sidetracked, but the point I wanted to make was basically literally every character that has come out since her release, and also I guess technically in the patch she was in, if you want to count Fei Xiao, has benefited Lingsha, and she's just very good with like everyone. She's very good. Like obviously she will be the best in break, but you don't need her to be like she doesn't need to be in break to be good, obviously. And as the characters have continued to come out, she's been great to like she's kind of been able to take on like a mini DPS role and be, you know, more than just like a healer, which I find really cool. But then also I think the kind of main thing I also want to talk about was how like I think she's only going to continue to get better, like at least for like I can't imagine her not being synergistic with like the kind of upcoming meta. So obviously this part is a bit more speculation, well, partially. Let me first talk about, you know, obviously because of the stream we got to see the Herda, and the Herda scales with AoE attacks, and you know who has AoE attacks on literally everything, you know, her skill and her ult and then her button, it's Lingsha. So I think it's pretty, like obviously in terms of like damage output, someone like Ho might be better. I know I said it twice, like anyway, like, you know, someone like her could pass like, you know, energy and like attack and might be like better in terms of like DPS, like, but because of, or like in terms of like strictly one specific number, but because of Lingsha basically being able to enable Herda and give her more stacks for her like passives and stuff and damage, you know, I don't fully remember how Herda's kit works, so I'm paraphrasing, I believe, but the main point is just that AoE, everything good for Herda, so, you know, she's gonna synergize really, really well with Herda to the point where like I'm going all in on her, and I will probably consider like maybe using either sustainless teams with my Firefly or using Caligar, at least whenever I'm using both like a break and a Herda team together, you know, because I know Lingsha's gonna be so good for for the Herda. Like obviously not, you know, she's not gonna be like a must pull unless you well, not must pull, but like, because no one is like an actual must pull unless you count, you know, Ron May and Robin, but you know, we're doing a little trolling. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh right. Obviously other people can work great too to just keep your team alive. Like someone like Pushwan, like she at least has like her AoE ult, and she gives crit rate, so you know she's still very good. Eventually, I don't know how his follow-ups count for her stacks actually. But I mean, he's unkillable and he's also completely SP positive, so he's very good too. You know, every sustain is gonna have their own benefits, but you know, even as just a standalone, I think Lingsha will be very good for Herda. Like probably her very general best sustain. And then if you happen to have Jade, then I'm pretty sure Jade is also like, I forget if you make Lingsha the Depth Collector. I think you do. I think you make her the Collector, and yeah, I'm pretty sure. So if you do that, then it becomes like the synergy is like even better there. So, you know, it's broken. And in that team, I think it's like no other character would compare to Lingsha there. But that means you have Jade, and I'm sorry if you have Jade. I just. If in an ideal world, if I could have every character, I would want Jade, but just because she would make Lingsha teams better. But yeah. So obviously, she's gonna be very good for Herta. And then I think kind of going into summon meta, like I assume, you know, they're gonna make the buffs, they're gonna make things like encourage summon use and like summon attacks and all that kind of stuff. And even though hers technically works differently than like the remembrance path and stuff, you know, it's still a summon. Like she's, I guess, to take advantage of stuff like with, you know, Sunday and everything. So I think she, like, there's bound to be buffs that where, you know, even if in a specific team she's not necessarily the best in slot sustain, she's still gonna be really good. Kind of how like in a Preventurine, like in like MOCs or like whatever endgame mode, that's like if you oh yeah, I'm thinking of Pure Fiction, I think mainly, but I think there's been some MOC stuff too. It's like, oh, you trigger X amount of like follow-up attacks or whatever per cycle, like you'll get a buff or whatever, right? Like she could do something similar if like her summon hits, if it's like, I don't know, proc this amount of shit and you get a buff or you get damage or you get whatever, right? So like she can take advantage of that too. So, you know, that's great. I think like there's that, and like whatever kind of, I don't know, like buffs. I'm repeating myself. Oops. I don't know. That's just kind of the main point, right? Like she's gonna, I think she will kind of fall into like being very good to just throw in purely because she can help you maybe like activate a specific buff and you can take advantage of it with your team and make like players a lot easier or like smoother because you get to utilize an MOC buff you might not get to have otherwise. So, you know, that's obviously good. And as, I don't know, as the game progresses and like the kind of summon meta exists, I think that her value just continue to go up. So I think if you choose to invest into her, like you wouldn't regret it. Like I think you'd be a happy guy. And I think I want to kind of specify this. So like this is like all of my experience with her is all E0 S0 on my characters. Like I don't have like run May E1, I don't have like anything like that that would buff her immensely, like in my like crit teams and stuff, or like super break teams. Like obviously, I mean I have an E6 HMC, but like I played the game. But like, you know, obviously I do have limited 5 stars and everything, so it's not like it's cheap, free, wow. But you know, what's it called? Yeah, it's obviously like it's cheap, free, but like it's still no Lycones, no like 5-star Lycones, which doesn't make it like obviously instantly accessible, but like, you know, to someone who like doesn't pull Eidolons and doesn't pull like signatures or like is trying to save for like a future pairing, you know, I found that she works really well at like E0 S0, and like if you did want to like vertically invest into her, like if you get like her E1, like this would be insane for literally all of her teams. Like literally every single one, it would be insane if you did stuff like E1, E2 Fugue, or like E1 Sunday, or like E1 Run May. Like actually there's a lot of ways that you could like invest into your other characters and they would make her teams even stronger, or you can invest into her herself. But you know, same for like Robin, like if you get like Robin, E1, all that good stuff. But yeah, there's obviously a lot you could do, but even at like a very baseline performance, like free to play Lycones, you know, like, obviously my relics are good, or like they're okay because I farm the stupid like domains a lot, but like, you know, they're not like the mind shattering things that like like I'm not running like 181 speed characters and shit like that. Like, you know, they're kind of relatable, like, you know, because I do a lot of two-piece builds and stuff. So yeah, so obviously if you were to more kind of like invest specifically into things for her, she would perform even better than like she would on my account even. Yeah, like for instance, I forgot, but I forgot to mention it, yeah, but like on top of things that, you know, she continues to like appreciate and be buffed by. Well, I mean, this came out before she came out, right? I'm pretty sure. Did it come out on release? I forget. But obviously she could take advantage of this set too, the summon planner set, so you obviously get a shit ton of free stats from it. Like, that's a lot of crit damage. So like, even though she doesn't have like any passives or or any traces that give crit damage, or like a light cone that gives any, you know, she does a lot of damage, or like she gets a lot of stats. And if they ever do release a like crit light cone or something, like I would be there. Like I'll be there. It would be fun as fuck. But yeah, I think that's kind of all the main stuff I wanted to get out of the way. For like a quick TLDR on her, I think right now with every character that's come out, she continues to get better, and I think that's gonna continue to be the case, especially going into more summoning oriented things. Like I don't see her suddenly like dropping off. I think she'll just continue to get stronger and stronger and be like, in my opinion, she's probably the second, like if like in my, she's like a top 2 sustain. Top 1 because she's the most versatile and the most fun, and she can be a DPS, and I think that's cool. But in terms of like survivability, I think like her and Aventurine are like, they have kind of the most maybe potential, I guess, and like most like use cases to me. And she could take advantage of like if whatever buffs they give to either like not even just summon stuff, but any buffs they give to like, you know, Firefly and like break teams, like kind of how like Himiko profits from Firefly's success. Like Lingsha will profit from anything they do for Firefly pretty much, like unless I literally made another Lingsha or something like that, like another fire abundance character for whatever reason, then like Lingsha would benefit from anything that Firefly would get to. So her break teams will age well, especially with Fugue now, which just makes her absolutely insane. Like she's literally like a Himiko that can heal, so you know, based. So into all content, she's gonna continue to be great, and especially in pure fiction, I think she's gonna always be good. Obviously in Apocalyptic Shadow or in Museum, it'll be like more content dependent on what it is, but she's still gonna be great there, especially in Apocalyptic Shadow because they focus more on like breaking shit. But yeah, she's gonna always be good. She'll get to take advantage of whatever summon mechanics they put out. She can take advantage of whatever break mechanics they put out, and even just like kind of like general damage buffs because of the way you can build her crit teams or like hybrid teams of like Fugue plus Sunday Robin or whatever. Like she'll benefit from a lot of different things, and that means she can always do well. So she will always be a good pickup, and I think you would always find a use for her, like no matter the content you're facing, which I find really cool. And actually, besides like her crit teams, her like general use teams, and like her super break teams, and then like teams with like Firefly and stuff, she also is really good in like I mentioned it earlier, but like with March Hunt, maybe Fish Out, I'm not sure, but well, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, with March, Lingsha, Robin, Sunday, and you can mark Lingsha as the Shifu, and you could probably build like crit and like speed on her. And you know, you can just action advance her with Sunday. You get a shit ton of bunny attacks, you get a shit ton of healing, you get a shit ton of March stacks, you get all the good stuff. And that team, it feels really good too. It's really fun. Because it's just fun. It's also a very cute team. It's very cute aesthetically too. So, you know, yeah, it's very fun. She's very fun. She's probably the character. I mean, okay, I have ET Firefly, so like I can't say she's the character I'm happiest to have. And if I didn't have Run May, I think my account would have been bricked like 10 months ago. But you know, I think in terms of like characters I've gotten happier and happier with, like so much just over the course of having them, I think Lingsha is the one like I've learned to appreciate the most. So yeah, I don't know, is there anything else I should talk about? If you want to know how to build her, I think I talked about, you'd either want break thing or just any support thing. You want either ER rope plus what is real / her signature, or like post-op plus a break rope. You can use the super break set if you're using super break, or like hybrid builds maybe. If you're not using super break, you can probably use something like either like thief. You can either use the thief set, or I don't know, like 2-piece speed, 2-piece break, 2-piece attack. And then for her crit builds, I think their best set for crit builds is the debuff set. Especially now, I think with Fugue, this is probably definitely the best in slot. You probably want this because you get so much. You get from her own ult and then also Fugue stuff, so I think you'd want this. For her planners, for like break, you can use this, especially because of Firefly. Or you can use Talia, obviously. In her crit teams, you would definitely want this set because it's 48 free crit damage. So even if your pieces on it kind of suck, it'll be good. And then on not break teams, you can use, you know, either Talia still if you want the extra break, or you can use like any other support set that you have. And for Stackles, I mean, I don't know. I think her passive thing involves reaching 2,200 attack, I think it is. Because it's her conversion, I think? Or am I mistaking that? Hold on, what am I looking? Or am I mixing up her shit with another character? Increases it. Okay. I forget. I think her break benchmark like 220? I don't know. I forgot. Whatever. You know, just give her a ton of attack because it scales her healing, and also you want to give her speed and break, and they're all good. You'll be fine. You'll make it. She's not hard to build. Obviously, she's good. I use an attack or attack body, but you can also just use healing body. I just happened to have this one that had speed on it, and my healing bodies didn't get speed, so yeah. I mean, that's it. She's good, you know, healer. She's great. We love Lingsha. As the game progresses, I plan to record many more runs with her and having her in the spotlight, because I know she's just gonna keep getting better and better, and it's gonna be awesome. So don't make a mistake. Don't regret everything. Roll Lingsha today. This is the Lingsha propaganda bot. It's done. Goodbye. Bye.